Now, listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
7 minutes after 4 o'clock on the 26th day of July in the Lord's year 2016, which is Jesus' third millennium. Thank you, Robert. Glad to have you here today. Got a full room. Got somebody new. Christy is here today, and she is kind of hanging out with us. We're friends, and she's had some extra time lately, and I've kind of needed a little extra support on the stuff that's going on with my heart, and so thank you very much. I love you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Jebediah is producing. Tom Coates, of course, is here. It's Tuesday afternoon. What would a Tuesday be without Tom Coates? Frank the Verse, the voice, the
pain.
The pain, and Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. You know what I think's amazing? You two get along.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't that way in the beginning.
Well.
Wasn't that way in the beginning.
Birds of a feather flock
You
together.
drove Tom crazy,
Well.
and likely you should. You did.
Oh, yeah. Since we moved out here, I've gotten along good with Frank. Maybe it's a different venue.
Well, and maybe it's a bigger room. Yeah, that could be. And, of course, Bob Montserrat is watching the chat, as well as the Service Legends Truth Talk text line at 515-809-0993. Just any comment you've got on the Democratic National Convention, any conversation or comments you've got on what's going on right now political, the phone lines are open. We're not going to necessarily throw out what we call a trigger question, the question that we want you to call in and answer. I just kind of want to leave it open and have you guys share, because I don't know. I think it's really different than any years past, isn't it, Tom? Don't you think so?
This is a unique political season, period. I mean, going back with the primaries that we had on the Republican and the Democrat side, and now we find out with these leaked WikiLeaks emails how they were increasingly concerned. Bernie was just supposed to be a figurehead to kind of acted like Hillary had an opponent, but didn't really supposed to be an opponent. And the more he got traction and got the far left energized, the more they became concerned. And so Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her minions over at the DNC have now been exposed, as well as the liberal media. I don't want to leave that out, because the media has been exposed as well as being nothing but lapdogs, giving their scripts ahead of time to the DNC for perusal.
Okay, hold on. I have not heard this.
Well, you haven't heard. Frank, you've heard this, haven't you?
Well, yes, they always give talking points to the media.
And they have actually submitted, in some cases, Politico submitted, one of their people submitted what was going to go on the show to the DNC ahead of time for alteration. There have been others. So the liberal media has been exposed. You're not going to hear that from them.
No.
But they have been. And Wasserman Schultz had to step down in disgrace. And Assange.
Right. Go ahead.
Assange, who runs the WikiLeaks, has promised more email dumps on Hillary. Now, whether it will be in conjunction with these DNC or whether it will be in conjunction with her private server. Now, and the media, do you read the Des Moines Register?
Yeah.
Okay, did you see today's second editorial?
I missed it.
Okay. Well, the second editorial was, again, proving the point that the emails weren't the real story. The real story here, Mac, is that the emails came from Russia, that the Russians actually gave the purloined emails to WikiLeaks, and that's the real story. And
so she was hacked.
Well, yeah, she was hacked, and the DNC was hacked. So I'm arguing that and the disgrace that they were trying to tarnish Bernie and embarrass him, claim he was an atheist, he wasn't a real Jew, and all of these kind of embarrassments that caused Debbie Schultz to step down. The point was about Russians. Now, think about this, guys. If the Russians were behind it, why would they really want Donald Trump, who's a loose cannon in their mind, perhaps, because they don't know what he's going to do, compared to Obama, who's given them everything they want? You remember 4 years ago when he told the president, the puppet president over there quietly, tell Vlad to give me some space right now. I'll have more flexibility after the election. Then I'll give him what he wants.
Yeah, it was Obama.
The media was not concerned with that. The media wasn't concerned when Snowden, who exposed a lot of our national secrets, then went and was given sanctuary by Putin and the Russians. That was no big deal. Now they're claiming that these emails are supposed to be discarded and discredited because supposedly Russia was the ones that hacked them. Now, why would they do that if they could run Obama around like a little boy? They could take Hillary and her reset button and do whatever they want over in the Middle East or anywhere in Europe that they want to do. And if they had them, why would they release them? Because then they could hang them over Hillary's head if she gets to be the president and extort whatever additional things that they wanted. None of that made any sense to me. How about you guys?
I saw a post on Facebook yesterday, day before, saying that Julian Assange was making a threat that he's going to dump an email. He's going to dump a series of emails that is going to put her in jail.
That could easily get her indicted. Exactly right, Frank. So we're going back to her personal server in that bathroom, right?
Well, yes, that. But also there's the threat that, this has started a new FBI investigation, supposedly, potentially, but that there is the foundation is being
That's been
questioned.
ongoing. Frank, that's not new. That's been ongoing. The Clinton Foundation is an ongoing investigation which is nothing is probably going to come from it any more than it was her. But that's the essence of the emails, guys. Why did she cover up and destroy those emails? Because it comes back to the Clinton Foundation, the millions of dollars that came into her and Bill personally from companies and countries that had business in front of the State Department.
Well, did you hear her disclaimer yesterday in her media interview or whatever? She was basically saying to, I don't know who it was interviewing her, but she made the point that, well, she didn't know nothing about it, but she couldn't vouch for all her employees. So she's throwing employees under the bus because something's going to come down on this.
They know that
Tom.
something's coming. Exactly. And she's very hesitant to say much of anything because she's afraid what Assange may go ahead and dump out. Now, is that going to be tomorrow, next week, or out in October just shortly before the general election? I don't know.
I mean, you got Cheryl Mills. You've got Anthony Weiner's wife.
Another dandy.
Uma. So, I mean, there's some people that is going to likely have to fall on the sword for this. But clearly, she ought to be indicted. She should be in jail.
Yeah, absolutely. With what we know she should be, but there's more coming.
Did you hear?
Yes,
okay. Bob. Did you hear? Just Mac, I'm going to get into this fray here, because I'm sitting next to these guys.
I know. I'm just sitting over here playing tiddlywinks and looking for Pokemon Go.
But that Trump has a bunch of Russian friends, business friends, and they're trying to say that the Russians are doing this because Putin wants Trump to be president.
And why would that be? I mean, because, again, they have controlled Obama like a little boy. They ran Hillary around, did whatever they wanted to. And if they really had those emails, why would they want to release them? Why wouldn't they hold them for extortion? If she does get elected president, that makes no logical sense to me.
Because I think, just like the Arabs, Putin respects somebody that has a backbone.
I can see that.
I truthfully think that Putin thinks that Trump is more of an equal to him, more of a challenge to him than Obama, who basically, if you remember the old series Punk'd with the Ashton Kutcher, Putin punked our president like a punk.
Well, he's an alpha male. Trump's an alpha male. I think, for the most part, Obama's a beta male, and I think he is controlled by his wife and what's the other gal?
Valerie Jarrett.
Valerie Jarrett. I think they pretty much pull his strings. The only time you get him animated is against conservatives. If he can draw all the lines he wants to for Assad in Syria, he can cross them all he wants to. Putin can step all over him. So there's nobody that he's going to oppose except for Christian conservatives. But if they're clinging to their Bibles and their guns, that's when he gets his back up. Other than that, he's a beta male.
Well, a little bit ago, you mentioned the media and the administration being in concerted effort with one another. And I don't know if you saw the meme on Facebook, but I actually looked up some of these on Google today. The New York Times, Huffington Post, Rolling Stone, ABC News, and a litany of others kept using the word dark. Because last week it was being painted that it was dark, it was frightful, it was scary what the Republicans had going on. So it brings me up to Paul Simon's song, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Okay, is the water calm? Is it fine? Or is it troubled? So they're giving a mixed message, Tom, that they're saying, oh, don't, even Obama said things were peaches and cream.
And Donald Trump's wanting to build a wall. You know who built a wall? Know who built a wall? An 8-foot wall to keep out undesirables in Philadelphia. It was the Democrats. Well, the Republicans didn't build a wall. The Democrats built the wall.
There was a wall on stage, and there was fences all around the arena.
Yes.
So we get accused of building walls and fences when it's in reality them.
Okay. Are we done with the Frank and Tom show? It lasted almost 11 minutes.
We can go some more if you want, Mac. I think we can keep going.
Well, we've got Christy in here, and I want her opinion, and I want Jebediah's opinion. Jebediah, this will be the first time you voted, right, in a presidential election?
No, I voted for Romney back in 2012.
Okay, all right. So we're going to take a break, and then, Christy, I actually want to come back and hear what you have to say. Have you been watching the convention?
It was as much as I can stand,
okay.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to hear, and Bob, I know you probably are glued to it, right?
I've watched some.
Have you really?
Yes.
I have. Tom, you're gonna hate me. I've watched none of it. I hardly watched any of the Republican last week.
In all honesty, Mac, I've only watched a little bit myself.
Yeah.
I'm not glued to it. I go crazy.
Hey, while we're at a break, can you find the Paul Simon song from last night where everybody says he's drunk? He sang "Bridge Over Troubled Water" at the convention
Paul
last night.
Simon?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look for it.
All right, let's take a break. We're coming back. Tom Coates is here. Frank, of course, is here. Frank's gone tomorrow. Bob Motzer at the Cat in the Hat watching the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. Christy's jumped in, and I'm here. But most importantly, you're here. Thanks for listening to The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 4 o'clock, 4:21 in the afternoon. Remember, if you've got a 401k that you've rolled over, Weiss Merkel Financial will examine it for you for free. There's no hidden thing here. I mean, if there does come to be a hidden thing, you call me and tell me, because I know there won't be. These are people you can trust, and unless you've got your retirement guy or gal, just absolutely, unless they've got you snowed that they know everything, why not get a second opinion? Would it hurt? It's not unfaithful. It's trust but verify. Okay, Ronald Reagan. Weiss Merkel Financial, 278-4110. All right. We're talking the convention last night, and the one thing I wanted to mention that I mentioned at the top of the hour, and I want to mention it again. Anytime you turn into this radio show and you need prayed with or prayed for, I will stop what we are talking about and do that. That's got to be our primary mission here, is to help you as a listener in your time of need, in your time of, gosh, Mac, I tuned into the radio because I just need to hear something about Jesus. And if that's what you need, then you need to call me. You need to call me at 244-0077. Tell Jebediah you need prayer. I don't need your name. You don't even have to get on the radio, to be honest with you. You don't even have to have your voice or your name identified. That is always our primary purpose. Yeah, we may be talking local news, or we may be talking politics, and maybe we're doing a Bible study. Maybe we're reading Scripture. But your need and desire for prayer is numeral uno in Mac's world. 515-244-0077. So, Christy, are you conservative or liberal, or do you even think about that?
I'm conservative.
Okay. So does that mean you automatically pull the lever for the guy with the R behind his name?
No.
Or gal?
No.
All right. So you can't help but live in Iowa and not pay attention to what's going on, because we had him here for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. So what do you think of this whole Republican-Democrat thing that we've gotten to this time around?
It's entertaining, for one thing.
Yeah.
I like Trump. I like what he stands for. I like his honesty. I like his work ethic. And I believe that when he says he will do something and get it done, I think he'll do it. Hillary Clinton scares me. I think the only reason she's where she is because she's a woman and she's a Clinton. Anybody with half a brain, that would look at her, I just don't understand how she has so many supporters. I think she's dangerous. She has no concern for this country.
No.
At all. And it's really all about her and Bill, really more about her. I think she's in a marriage that is for political reasons only. The last time they lived in the same house together was the White House.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When they were married, yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Well, they share a home in Chappaqua, but they're seldom there at the same time. I think she's exactly right.
Yeah.
And we know it's been a marriage of political expediency going back when Frank and I talked last week, how she couldn't pass the bar exam. She's not the brightest bulb on the porch, although they want to have you believe she's a genius, but she flunked the bar exam when she first took it. Hooked up with Bill, went down to Arkansas and passed the Arkansas bar exam, which was a lot lower bar, right, Frank?
Here's the question that I would pay money to have a reporter ask her. If you are elected president of the United States, can you give a promise where Bill will be in bed every night? And I would like to see the answer to that question.
I think the Energizer Bunny would have a better hook.
You want to see a tap dance, kabuki dance to avoid that question?
Well, she doesn't care about women's rights.
I don't believe they slept in the same.
Right. She's the biggest womanizer, just by covering up for Bill of anybody.
Forced and consensual affairs. Exactly right.
Yes.
Do you think, Christy, that she would have a better chance in politics if she had left Bill when that whole Monica Lewinsky thing came down?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
She ruins herself no matter what.
Yeah, I think she needs Bill. Bill's a good old boy. He's likable.
Yeah.
People like him.
Fundraising machine also.
Yes.
Rosie O'Donnell was bitterly angry at Hillary when she didn't divorce Bill after they left the White House.
Yeah.
Well, but that's Rosie. I mean, to be honest with you, that's a vote for Hillary.
I understand, but the implication is that the women were coming to the response of a woman who was a victim in need, and she wasn't leaving the so-called perpetrator for political aspirations.
But they didn't understand. Instead of, she wanted to play the role of the victim, but as Christy was saying, actually she was in charge of the bimbo eruptions going way back into Arkansas, where occasionally women like Paula Jones and others would step forward. Juanita Broderick, who was literally raped in a hotel room, and the media found her to be too credible to give her any time. You remember that story, Mac, where she required work on her mouth because he bit her into submission in that one. Those kind of things. And Hillary later met her at a gathering, got her into a corner, grabbed a hold of her hand, looked at her very intensely, and said, "We know what you've done for Bill and I in the past, and we know you'll continue to do it." And she said there was no question in my mind. She knew exactly what had happened, and I was being threatened with even my life if I were to speak out.
And squeezed her hand, according to Juanita Broderick, squeezed her hand tightly the whole time she was talking.
Exactly, Frank. We read the same account. So, again, we're not just talking about somebody that's fooling around once in a while. We're talking about Bill Clinton, who's had hundreds, maybe thousands of affairs, and some of them not consensual.
Okay, we've kind of gone on here for about 15 minutes and talked about a lot of different things. I want to narrow it down now. You mentioned three things in the beginning that I think were really important: the media lapdogs, Wasserman Schultz, and WikiLeaks.
Okay.
So let's start with the media lapdogs. I got to be honest with you. I have a hard time seeing this anymore because I'm just not the news hound I used to be. I mean, that's something.
Junkie.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things Jesus has kind of done to me. I'd rather shut off the phone or shut off the TV and pray than I would listen to some of this garbage that's on TV. So you got to tell me, Tom and Frank and Christy and whoever, what's going on in the media that is so obvious to everyone but the unreasonable, and that would be the liberals. Go ahead.
Let me start it off by saying, supposedly there was a snide email sent out from Wasserman Schultz to Reince Priebus.
Saying if you can't handle, I'll offer to come in and help you handle your group there in Cleveland. That was funny.
Because of the small disruptions of supposed plagiarism and the Ted Cruz debacle.
Yeah.
Wasserman was making fun.
She was trash talking him. Yeah,
trash
exactly.
Talking.
Yep.
She didn't even get to gavel the convention because she got her rear kicked because of this WikiLeaks dropping these emails.
Okay, now hold on. You're crossing over into another topic here, and if we want to go into the emails, that's fine, and it ties to the lapdogs. But we need to get the facts out on these emails. They're legitimate. This is not a stunt.
Nobody's denied the authenticity of these emails. That's the thing. Like I say, the Des Moines Register, which is another classic lapdog, especially the editorial department of the liberals, and they're nothing but an extension of the Democrat Party themselves. They're not even arguing the authenticity. All they're trying to do is discount it. They're trying to ignore it, and they're discounting it by claiming that the Russians are behind it. Well, like I said, the Russians have been behind a lot of things with this administration that hasn't bothered anybody in the media, and now they're saying, well, it's not even worth talking about because the Russians are behind it. We don't have any evidence, for instance, that the Russians are behind it. I don't believe it.
Okay, hold on just a second, Frank. Well, go ahead and say what you going to say?
Well, there was emails that made fun of Bernie Sanders' religion, that he's a Jew, or an atheist. They wasn't sure which. They made fun of a black woman's name. They used the word homo in a particular email. So they are disparaging.
Now, wait, hold on. Who's they?
Whoever
DNC.
these emails were sent back and forth to the DNC, the operatives in the field, trying to micromanage Hillary's campaign to make her look like she's the most wonderful thing on earth. And basically, there was a lot of disparaging remarks about the groups that they always accuse the Republicans of being against, the immigration, the Muslims,
Good point.
the women, all this stuff. They're the ones who are the anti.
Good points.
29 minutes before 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, it'll be Salem Radio Network News. And then Hank, the Bible Answer Man, at 1-888-ASK Hank. That's today here live on The Truth. Christy is a guest today. Christy's a friend of mine, and she's just a natural radio person. By the way, are you a natural radio person? You might be. You might be able to come in here and sit in one of these seats. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are no professional broadcasters in this room except for me and Jeb. All the people that are on the radio today are just passionate people who have a brain and they know how to communicate with it. If that's you, come in and sit. Tell us what you want to be passionate about and talk about, and we'll do it. I hate to sound 70s radio, but this is your radio station. We do this. We do this. We love our jobs, but we really thank you for listening. All right, so Christy, go ahead.
Which topic?
Well, I want to talk about these leaked emails. So, is there any doubt in your mind that they're real?
Oh, they're real. Nobody's questioning that. I think it's laughable that the Democrats are blaming it on the Russians. That to me is like the dog ate my homework. It's just laughable.
Yeah, because they're trying to help Trump, right? Now, I'm getting something confused here, because didn't somebody who had something to do with a whole bunch of emails run off and hide in Russia?
We're talking about Eric Snowden. I mentioned that earlier, Mac, and you remember the media they thought Snowden was a hero. He had exposed some of our security in this country.
That's right.
And then he got asylum under Putin and the Russians, and they had no problem with that.
We went to China first, right?
Yeah, but then he went to Russia, and they had no problem with Russia at that point. And again, I'm going to remind your audience that Barack Obama himself was talking supposedly off mic to the puppet president of Russia, saying, "Tell Vlad I need a little bit of space, and after the election I'll have more flexibility, in essence, to give him anything that he wants.
Right.
But give me a little space right now because I'm in a tight election."
Well, was he saying that was the Ukraine?
Yeah, I think that was on the Ukraine. And there, again, the media had no problems with that. Only the conservative talk shows and Drudge and a few other sites picked up on that. So they're being very selective. And again, I'm going to say one more time that I don't see Russia's self-interest here. And they're only going to do it on their self-interest. Now, maybe you're right, Frank. Maybe it's Putin admires Trump as being another alpha male, and he'd like to have somebody he could at least have an equal with. But I think more likely the self-interest is that they push Hillary and Obama and the liberals to do whatever they want to do. They've had nothing but a field day since they went in. And if they really had those leaked emails from Hillary, and she at least has a coin flip's chance to be the president, although I will take the bet on that coin flip, why would you not want something you could hold over her head from there until she got out of the White House and blackmail her with it? Why is that not the self-interest that would drive them?
I think it's better to spend the card now.
And make sure she doesn't get in. I agree with Tom. Why wouldn't you? Hey, you're Putin, and you can have the United States American president on your puppet strings. That's much more powerful than an ally with Trump.
He's already made the deals. This is a part of an article I read the other day.
Okay, I want you to hold that and bring it back. We're coming up on a break. 4:35 here live on The Truth. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love my job, especially today, and I thank you for listening. All right, we're coming back live here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Are you there? Okay. No, Jeb, go ahead and play that. I just wanted to have my mic on. You're listening to Paul Simon last night at the Democratic Convention singing Bridge Over Troubled Water. Sound like he's drunk.
Your eyes, I will drive them on. I'm on your side. When times get rough and friends just can't be flat like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water.
All right, Jeb, that's good. Okay, I didn't watch this last night. I did watch it just now. I do have to defend him in one thing. He did not have buds in, which means he was not getting the audio in his ears. And that is very hard to sing. I don't care how good a singer you are. That's very hard to sing when you don't have that music in your ears. So I'm just telling you. I'm not gonna say anything more about his singing because he didn't have buds in, and that's impossible to do almost.
Mac, let me say one thing real quick. the delegates, the 1,900 Bernie Sanders delegates, something should be said about this because they have been much more unruly and much more divided than anything we saw at the Republican convention. You started to mention it earlier, but there's a reason for that too. And I think part of the reason is that many of those delegates that Bernie had to ask to come in and represent him were not your traditional Democrat politician party person. Those people, for the most part, refused to do it because although they might have supported Bernie, they did not want to take that kind of a public stand that would alienate and antagonize Hillary Clinton. So he had to go to activists, to people that were not part of the party system, and they're the ones that were the true believers, and they're the ones that the party hates, and they hate the party. And they're having a real tough time calming them down. They're trying to do everything they can. They got Bernie, they got Michelle, they got Elizabeth Warren, they got everybody they can from the left trying to get them calmed down, and they're not getting them calmed down right.
No, they're not yet. Okay, we need to take a break because we got a text from somebody who asked to pray for their family. Now, have we got any information back, or is it just pray for my family?
It's this family is going through a really rough patch right now, and though you don't know this person does respect your prayers.
Well, thank you. I'm just a Jesus freak with a radio show. I mean, that's all I am. But anyway, obviously, if you're driving down the road right now, I don't want you to close your eyes. If for some reason you can close your eyes, or however you pray. A lot of times when I pray, I look up. I don't look down. I don't close my eyes. I sometimes I put my hands together like was taught in the Catholic Church, and sometimes I just look up like I'm talking to Papa. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to pray for this family. Hey, Papa, I want to thank you for the opportunity to sit here on the radio and ask people if they need prayers. And thanks. We're going to respond to this person. We're going to respond because they're going through a tough time and they need lifted up. And so everybody that's listening right now is lifting you up, whoever you are. Thousands of people right now are lifting you up. And in their own way, with their own names, Papa, Father God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, Mary, I don't know. I don't care. My name is Papa. That's who you are, God. And his son, his name is Jesus. And they live in us through the Holy Spirit. So, Lord, I just ask you to surround this family, all of them. No. You get back in the circle. There's a family member here that just doesn't think they belong in this circle, and I want you back in the circle. And I want the angels to hold you and put their arms around you and to tell you God's got it. God's got it. Listen, don't worry. Okay, God's got this. So, Papa, just put your arms around them, send them your angels. And reveal yourself to them. Reveal yourself to them so they know that you're there. Reveal the Holy Spirit. Reveal Christ. Reveal God. The Trinity all in one. Reveal, God, yourself to this family so they know that they're taken care of and they're okay. In Jesus' name, amen. I'll pray for anybody anytime, man. You let me know. All right. You were going to tell me, Christy, some stuff about the Clintons and Russia. And apparently there's a long history here.
Yes, and this goes back to when she was Secretary of State, and she had there was a deal.
Get in front of
There was a deal that the the State Department was one of 8 agencies to review a deal, but to review a deal for uranium to go to Russia. Hillary approved a deal to give half of our U.S. uranium to Russia. At the same time, her foundation received $145 million.
From Russia?
From Russia. At the same time, Bill Clinton was given $500,000 to go to Russia and speak. And I think it was a very short speech. But she made the deal to give them, half of our uranium. Nobody has ever given Russia uranium rights to anything.
Oh, okay, so I believe that all to be true, but why is Russia now trying to hurt the Clintons then? I mean, wouldn't it, or am I got that wrong?
Are they?
Argue, Mac,
Are they?
that the Russians weren't behind this WikiLeaks leak like the liberal media, the Des Moines Register, and everybody else is trying to say. They're trying to say it was the Russians. And I keep saying, I don't think it's the Russians, and there's another reason why.
Yeah, Christy,
It wasn't. That's why I said that's laughable. You know, when they said, oh, it's the Russians. Really? Yeah.
Okay.
The dog ate my homework, too. So that's just... That's ridiculous.
The Russians probably want Hillary Clinton.
That's what I think. Frank, what do you think?
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know who had the capability to hack into the computer system. I mean, yes, you may be right. It may be somebody that's trying to blame somebody else, you know, to get the smoke off of or get the heat off of themselves. But I just find it interesting that a lot of things that we got accused of last week in our convention, Chris Christie's speech in particular, where he was indulging the chant "Lock her up," and when last night or yesterday during the announcement, Bernie Sanders was roundly booed. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was booed. There was many people booed, and there was a chant "Lock her up" by the Bernie Sanders supporters.
The ones I mentioned. And again, they are not your traditional party people. They were afraid to come out for Bernie. So you got activists that are not part of the party, and they are not being cowed down. So yes, Lock Her Up was being heard a lot more than if he'd been able to get the traditional party person to go in as his delegate.
But I listened to several shows over the weekend. Chris Matthews' show, he actually done a pretty good job showing some things about Hillary and Bill and their lives and where they, you know, how it got them to the point they're at now. But I also listened to a show, Harris Faulkner, with Pat Goodell and Doug Schoen, and they both acknowledge that Bernie has pushed her way to the left where she always belonged. She was never a centrist. Mm-hmm. And they say she is absolutely hemorrhaging. Pat Goodell used the word hemorrhaging blue-collar workers in places like Ohio, Virginia, all these working states, Michigan, etc. And this is just not a good sign for Hillary.
No, but that's also one of the reasons she chose Kaine as her running mate.
Hey, I want to hear about this. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, Kaine, who's a senator from Virginia, is not a denizen of the left. At least his rhetoric is. His rhetoric is fairly conservative to moderate, and she was trying to go back and appeal, I think, to what she's losing. Plus, the big money coming from the banks and Wall Street are much happier than they would have been had she chosen somebody like Elizabeth Warren, who has been a bane to bankers and to Wall Street in much of the bureaucracy that she has tried to install.
And supposedly Kaine gives lip service to pro-life.
Yes, I'm saying so. This is further.
Hold on, we got to take a break. Okay. We got to take a break. Frank, you knew that. 4:48. We're going to come back here in a couple minutes and wrap this up live here on The Truth, 99.3.
That's why I stopped at that.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
4:50, 10 before the top. Salem Radio Network News at the top, and then Hank, the Bible Answer Man, at 1-888-ASK-HANK. That's here on 99.3 The Truth. Tom Coates in the house, along with Frank the Verse and Bob Montserrat, the Cat in the Hat, watching the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. Special guest is my friend Christy today, and you were just saying something that Hillary said something about ISIS.
Hillary made a comment, and I think I saw it on the news last week. She said that we need to sit down with the terrorists and find out what their hopes and ambitions are. And that's what I did. I laughed and I said, are you kidding me? Isn't it clear what their ambition is?
Yeah.
To kill the infidel?
Yeah.
I mean, that's clear.
Cut off the head of a Catholic priest today.
Floored. Yes, they did.
What'd you say?
You heard about the 86-year-old Catholic priest in Normandy, France. And I had a friend that was just touring there a few weeks ago, and they went in.
Is that the guy you brought on the radio that time?
No, it's a different guy.
Okay.
And they passed by the church. Anyway, they went in and took some hostages and cut the old 86-year-old Catholic priest's head off. Fortunately, the French police got in there and shot the two. But ISIS is celebrating again today because they cut the head of a Catholic priest off.
Oh, my God.
That was during a church service.
Yeah, and apparently we need to sit down and see what those men's ambitions were.
Yeah,
and I think we learned what their ambition was to cut the Catholic priest's head off.
I'm guessing it probably has to do with global warming.
Well, and you know that John Kerry said the other day that air conditioning was a bigger threat to humanity than ISIS was.
I heard that. I did hear that. As I was sitting in my air-conditioned home.
Yeah. So, Mac, did you know that? John Kerry, our Secretary of State, said that air conditioning's a bigger threat to us than is ISIS.
Mm-hmm.
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
How do we let... That's a joke. I mean, that's not even a responsible statement. That's not even a reasonable statement.
It's the Russians. They did it.
Yeah. How do we have a Secretary of State like that?
Because, Mac, they want to convince, and they're doing a good job convincing the young people, the millennials, the people younger than that global warming is the biggest threat on the doorstep. And so these one-offs, these lone wolves, these few that take Islam out of context and act out on it is not the real threat. The real threat is man-made global warming, and you need a government big enough and powerful enough and intrusive enough to take your fossil fuels away from you so that you don't destroy the planet that we all live on.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something a little bit more nefarious to this. Places like Houston, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, the whole Southwest wouldn't even exist in our country without air conditioning for the most part. Those places wouldn't even have been settled. And if you could just eliminate those electoral votes from those places.
The Republican strongholds. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, and here's the way I've always looked at global warming, and if you guys disagree, let me know. This is just going to be the next wave of taxes. Mm-hmm. Your carbon
absolutely,
footprint.
Mac. Absolutely.
Yeah, they just want to find another source to tax us on.
But by doing
and it's our carbon footprint.
Their government's power and reach grows that much more with that because they will have a whole different army of bureaucrats to oversee this thing.
Okay, let me ask you. I'm going to change subjects kind of for a minute.
Okay.
So, Tom, do you think that Donald Trump is going to be that guy who makes government smaller and reverses this grow, power by the government?
I think it is possible, Mac. We know that it will not happen under Hillary. I think Donald Trump is of such, and a fellow I met years ago, Dr. James Dobson, went out there in '98 and did his show on the gambling issue when he was on the National Commission. Said that Donald Trump is a baby Christian. He has met with him, and he described him as a baby Christian. I trust Dobson's judgment enough to come out and think that perhaps he not only will and has a strong enough will, because the establishment Republicans don't. They only grow at a slower growth than the Democrats. I think that there's a good chance that Donald Trump, in some of these instances, and Look at the immigration. Barack Obama's been bringing in 100, 200,000 Muslims a year into this country.
It's just crazy.
Hillary wants to step it up. She wants 1 million brought in her first 4 years. Trump is not going to do that. I think he is going to recognize this as a threat that it is, and he's going to do all he can to stop that.
Well, did you hear his line at the convention that he's actually going to go after fraud, waste, and abuse, something that people only talk about, talk, and he's actually going to put, he's actually going to call their bluff, and he's going to find out what can be cut in these individual departments of government?
There's no question. I think he will delegate. Ronald Reagan was a great delegator. We know, Mac, we've had Sam Clovis on this show different times. He's in charge of his policy. We know what a sharp guy Sam Clovis is. If that's the kind of guy that Donald Trump is going to hire and put in charge of some of these different departments, I think there is hope for us. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's unbelievable. I've never in my life seen anything like this. Seen the country just coming unzipped. And I really felt that the Democratic convention would really look good. And it would make us on the Republican side continue to look silly with Trump. These people are just beating their brains out and making them look horrible.
Yeah.
You know what it did? Who was it? You? Somebody that mentioned this big wall?
Yeah.
I said, They said they're down on Trump for wanting to build a wall and secure our borders, which a sovereign nation should do. They're the ones that built the wall in Philadelphia, an 8-foot wall to keep out the undesirables.
Well, didn't they want to keep the Bernie Sanders people out? Isn't this the whole thing?
There was some movement to do that. I think they were harassing some of the Bernie Sanders people around the streets being arrested today even. Did you know that? I think they arrested, I don't know what the number was, maybe it was 100 Bernie Sanders followers in the last 24 hours been out on the streets.
These people that were protesting outside the margins of where they were protecting the arena with these big, tall fences they were erecting.
Right.
And I think you're likely to see, if they tick these guys off, I think you could see a repeat of the 68 Chicago convention.
Well, I don't understand why Bernie said yesterday on the TV that he supports Hillary. I thought after this whole email thing, he'd have the gonads to stand up and say, hey, I got screwed here. Here's the proof. Don't give up on me. This is not a done convention.
What do you think? The Clintons have ruled by all sorts of methods, including extortion and the delivering of the threats. I wonder what they might have on Bernie when they met privately with him to decide whether Bernie would actively support or not. Wonder what they've really got on him.
Well, do they have anything on him, or did they pay off his campaign debt?
All right, one or the other. It's a carrot or the stick, or both.
Yeah, right. It's one of the two. All right. Tom, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. Frank, I don't like to say this very often, but you did a really good job today.
Thanks.
You almost put me to sleep.
I interrupted Bill's phone call, which I apologize for.
That's all right. Bill's a good guy. All right, Bob, thanks for being here tomorrow. It's a Frank Free Day tomorrow. Tom, you want to come in? We're going to have a Frank Free Day tomorrow. Christy, thanks for being here. Hope you come back again. You did very good.
I'd love to.
Jebediah, as always, you're a great producer. Appreciate you being here. Oh, I've got to write a review. It's time to review Jebediah, so maybe you guys could help me. I got to write a review for his employment. All right, I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. Love this job. Can't do it without you. Today, do it, man. I've been asking you to do it. Go home. Give up that resentment. Forgive that person. Because as you forgive, you will be forgiven. I'll see you at church.